thank you, Jan, thank you, Andy, thank you very much for being with us. In your electronic music live act, how much is improvisation and how much is scheduled, organized?
It depends which kind of setup we have. We have like different setups. We have a band setup, we have an ensemble setup. Ensemble setup is a little more organized, it has to be, because more people involved. There's always free spots. People can improvise, of course. But if we play together, there's lots of improvisation we do. We have the basic rhythms or bass lines, but we're always able to maybe just use the bass line and add other stuff like drum computer, resample, live, noise, singing. Between us two, it's very easy to change directions and sounds.
Being sound organizers means also being sound explorers. And which are the current directions of your explorations? How do you plan the next Mouse on Mars expedition?
We always have many interests, and we just follow every interest, and we don't think much about like where will it be finished or what will it become. And
at the moment there's lots of stuff going on. Like, so we just have been in the States, and we've been on. We met lots of musicians and interesting musicians. We did recordings. We worked with. Now we started to work more with light, and we were thinking about how to use light as a sound. So experiment and pick up the neon light, like the frequency you can get. And this is very inspiring for, like during stuff like that, we think, this could work very well with the instruments, like ensemble instruments. And then you have a small vision, the direction you can go, but then something else happens that's more, you get even more inspirations. But then we kind of follow a path, and sometimes we're happy if this path is cut and other influences. You just have to be open, and then in the end, the hard work is to organize it, get it in the right relations.
Electronic music is deeply involving the relation with public and audience, that is physical, emotional. Are you interested in these aspects?
Yeah, totally.
It's very important.
It's just it takes a second to get it, like you go on stage and immediately you have a feeling, and it's not only the single audience members, it's the whole room, and how the sound is reflected by the room, and how that reflects back into the audience, and
you hear the music through the audience.
It's a constant feedback on many levels. Sometimes it's important to keep something very organized, and then sometimes there are moments where you just create total confusion, and that's what you have to play with. So the audience, the space, the sound system, the context of the event, all these things actually also play us. We're not the masters. Everything goes into us, goes through us, goes back outside, comes back into us. This is what it is. That's so interesting. This is why we still do this.
It sounds interesting, for sure. And the texture of your sound is often complex. How do you study its connection with visuals?
The visuals were not so super interested in visuals. Some visuals we let them happen, and sometimes people make videos for us and we just let them do what they want. And when we play live, we have a software patch which our friend Carl Kleen has been developing, and this software patch is reacting to what we do live, and then it takes a certain amount of pictures, still images, non-moving images, and it kind of dissolves these images creates feedbacks within these images, and it just totally depends on what we do live. So
and it always like depends what we do. So the audio analysis is like triggering this picture is always different. It depends what kind of sound we feed in.
You always kept an experimental spirit in your works. Also, the recent experience of Jan with glottal Volpentirgen, for example, for Documenta Filzen, testify this, which were the guidelines of that project.
Documenta had a sound project, or like a sound program parallel to the Documenta, curated by Paolo Torsenado. He's like a young composer and experimental guitarist. And he had this vision, so he got in contact very early and said, so what would you like to do? What are the possibilities? What could we do? And I had many ideas. And in the end, we decided to go for a performance, but the performance in Athens, at Romanzo, it's a particular venue in Athens, but which was, performance is something very concrete, but we wanted to build it up, so it was we called it a multi-fragmented composition, so there were different frequency bands, and they were broadcast by Documenta Radio. So there were terrestrial frequencies in different countries in the whole world. I don't know, Africa, Indonesia. I think there was one near Madagascar, Africa, Indonesia, Germany, all kinds of places. And where these frequency bands were broadcast, and they were very particular, just feedback pieces, very microtonal, very long, and each frequency band together would, like if you would take each one and play them simultaneously, they would create something like a chord, like a harmony maybe. And this was basically then coming together in Athens, and this harmony was the background or the situation in which we were performing live. It was Aaron Dessner on guitar and me on electronics, and Bryce Dessner was coming in from through an amp which was placed in the room. So again, in the room the piece was very distant. Aaron was here, I was there, and Bryce was coming from a loudspeaker over there, and then the frequency bands came through 4 speaker systems in the room. So it was, although it was together in one space, it was still fragmented. And there was the idea about this piece. So, yes, and people could have different positions, and everyone would have a different idea of what the composition was.
How much the electronic music scene has changed since the beginning of the Mouse on Mars project, in your opinion?
It has basically exploded. It's more like the explosion of like the Big Bang type of explosion.
Yeah.
That explosion created like new planets and new galaxies. I think electronic music is the most diverse genre of every musical genre. Yeah. It's much more diverse than jazz music. And jazz is already like insanely wide and different. But electronic music is a very interesting genre because it connects very quickly to other genres. So it connects quickly and takes influences from even classical music or from jazz music or improvised music or pop music.
But there's also, because it's very it's like the preset world that has become so big. So if there's music created, there's presets like kind of reproducing what has been produced before with some tricks.
It's like the whole preset world, and you can create like a very specific musical style, and everything is totally precise and on the spot. But you can also create a total mess, and then there's this whole world of modular synthesizers and people building their own machines, or like the world of people programming software, music software. Is insane. We never even hear about these people. It's like infinite max patches. People who, for their whole life, only like created like reactor patches and upload them into the reactor community. It's insane. I feel half of the human population is creating electronic music.
Yes, it's a universe. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jan, thank you. Thank you.